evening, ladies and gentlemen. Fred, my brother, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Vince. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. So
Good to
today,
hear.
uh, tell us what we got going on, Fred.
Well, we are pleased to welcome to Monday Metal guitarist Herman Frank as we talk about the latest release from his band Victory and their new album Circle of Life, set for release on September 13th on AMF Records. We'll get some insight to the making of the album, the upcoming European tour, and hopefully chat a little bit about his stint with Sept. So please welcome, and hopefully being part German, I'll get this right, to Montagsmetal, Herman Frank.
Hi, how are you guys?
What's up,
Nice to
Herman?
meet
How are
you.
you, man?
I'm
Hi,
fine,
Herman.
thank you so much.
One of the riff masters of all time.
No, thank you, I appreciate it.
It's funny. Like when you think of great riffs, you always go back to a handful of people that just like some people get a lucky one, but there's guys like you that time and time and time again, you just find that spot.
I'm just doing this since 5 years.
Just a little bit. So when did you start playing guitar?
Actually, in the last century. I guess in the age of 13, some arrow hit me and said, and infected me with rock and roll and the wish to become rock and roll. So I thought, I'm becoming 66, I guess 53 years ago.
Right on. Was there a specific song that did it for you, or is it just you just realized?
Actually, it was a guitar teacher.
Okay.
Because in this time we had been forced to play German folk music in school. In I guess you call it ground school or whatever, elementary school or whatever. Yeah. I'm not familiar with this thing. And so in the age of 11, 12, yeah, I went to this teacher in school and said, I want to learn guitar. And then we did papa songs, German folk songs, and that wasn't that exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
And as I visited a musical college, or high school, it is high school in your country, and as my dad played violin and everybody in the family played violin, I had to play violin also. So I kind of came up, I want to do something different. And with a couple of friends, we listened to Uriah Heep and stuff like that, Black Sabbath. I said, I want to become one of these.
Yeah.
Then I went with 13 to my first live concert. It was Wind. It was a German band in a town hall. I said, that's the way I want to do it. So I showed up at the guitar teacher and said, I want to learn guitar, expecting he shows me a couple of riffs or these kind of like things. Then he started papa. Yep, that wasn't that. As I said, I'm not expecting. But then in these days there hadn't been teacher around like today or YouTube or whatever, Right. So you had to learn by yourself.
Yeah, it's amazing what these kids can do now. Of course, they have everything.
Yeah, it's on the one side, it's much easier these days. And the older days in my time, we had to listen back to records.
Yeah.
And then what do you call it? Tape desk recorder came up, so you got a chance to rewind.
Oh, totally.
And one of the first records I got was from Uriah Heep, very ample. And then I guess a couple of years later, Van Halen showed up with this fantastic debut album. And yeah, I gave my best.
Yeah, I remember
to play Eruption and all this stuff.
Oh, totally. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen, I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah, actually, I have to tell you a story. I found another guitar teacher. I was into jazz in these days, or everybody was a teacher had been teaching you jazz. And he showed me a year or 2 years before, because it's an old technique. It's not invented by Eddie. He made it very popular. But he also played a little with his tapping style a little bit, but nobody believed, oh, you could use it on guitar in a way, you know.
Right,
But
not
then,
that way.
yeah, Van Halen was one of the first influences, and for sure Ted Nugent.
Oh, Ted, I'm glad you brought up Ted Nugent.
Yeah,
You
Cat
mentioned him.
Scratch Fever, Stranger, or Great
Oh
White
my
Buffalo, and then I got a chance to see him live back in my hometown. Wow.
Yeah.
That was the moment.
Yeah, because
This white guy on stage, and
that's why you originally chose Charlie, right, to sing, because
yeah,
Charlie sang with Nugent.
guess so.
Unbelievable.
I
Like
mean,
Ted,
I didn't even know Ted Nugent before, but from this day on, he was one of my heroes for sure.
oh, and a lot of stuff. It's unfortunate with Ted because everyone, he's a guitar player. That's what I base my view on Ted Nugent. He's an amazing guitar player, and everyone's focused on the stuff he's not doing, not playing guitar. But oh my, he is so underrated, and because of his mouth, he gets kind of kicked down the list a little bit. But
I
he's
mean,
one of the
underrated.
greatest there is.
I wish I would have had his career.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, he was very, very popular days in the backing days.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he filled up stadiums and stuff like that, and played
Unbelievable.
really great festivals. Wow.
I've seen him 4 times, and every time he's 110%. There's no, he doesn't call anything in.
He's just a wild guy. He's an animal.
Absolutely. And okay, so Iron Allies.
Yeah.
You did that with David Reese. David Reese was on the show, was it 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah.
What a really nice guy, man.
Yeah.
And that album you guys did together was fantastic.
I really love this album because I do like how his voice matched to my riffs, to my. It's not heavy metal. It's kind of like in between hard classic rock and metal, but when I heard his singing the first time on these songs, I said, "Yo, there's something special." He's giving a different mood to the music.
Oh, absolutely.
And I do love, he's so professional. He's the most American singers are really good singers because they are natural native speakers. And so I guess it's a little bit easier for them to sing these vocals and pronounce it in the correct way, and they smooth around and sneak around. It's just fantastic.
That always blew my mind.
His
Like when of course when Sept comes out, when Scorpions, I was like, how are these guys singing in a different language like that? Like the mental gymnastics that takes. I mean, not everyone could do that. I mean, there's a lot going on there to do that.
They might have practiced it.
Just a little bit. Well, I mean, just not being like what happens if you automatically revert to your native language? Like that would, to me, that I'm not smart enough to do that. Is what I'm saying.
It's the same thing if you have to do an interview in not in your native language. You're always thinking in German and translate at the same time in a different. Anyway.
Nice. Well, yeah. So yeah, I also when I started to first take guitar lessons, they tried to teach me polkas, and I lost interest really quick, man.
Yeah. Yep. I can tell a story.
Right. Okay.
But
so
it became fast in my mind that I want to be not rock star in these days, but you had a dream of.
Right.
And then 2 friends of mine, the one we forced him to play the bass. He did. The other one was a drummer already. So we came up, and from the first moment on, we tried to come up with some originals, with some own songs. We didn't cover that much. Okay, we did Black Sabbath, Iron Man, and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Paranoid and things like that.
Yeah. Now, do you think audiences were more open to hear original music from bands just starting out versus today?
In Europe?
Yes.
Yeah. Guess so.
Yeah. I don't know why American isn't as open musically. Like they seem to do, okay, that was this number of years, that genre, moving on to the next one. Okay, now everyone's doing this.
Yeah.
Everywhere else in the world, people still, there doesn't seem to be that, at least from my perspective.
I mean, the rock and roll festivals and the metal festivals, the most are all over Germany, all over Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple of big ones and lots of smaller ones.
Absolutely.
And I guess these days it's not that easy to come. For example, for Victory, it wouldn't be impossible right now to fly over and go for a tour or something. No way. No way.
I mean, yeah, we covered you.
I had
guys.
been the chance to visit the US for a couple of times. Yeah, I would be ready for.
Right.
Send me a ticket. I'm flying over.
Right.
Just grab my guitar. Suitcase is already packed.
Absolutely. Yeah, we covered Count on Me.
Oh,
that song is blister. Like I played that thing probably 12 times in a row, Herman. It was just like, my God, there's something about it. It just
that's the reason why that's the reason why I also played it more than 4 or 5 times in the studio. No, these guitars had been the same guitars I used. I laid down as a demo. I do a lot of use my demo guitars.
Okay.
On since years on records, because when you create a song and you come up with a riff and a verse and a chorus, that's the most energy in your guitar playing. If you, I tried a couple of times. I tried to record it and redo it in the most proper way you can do it. It's nonsense. It doesn't sound the same anymore, and I think true music needs a little bit of small mistakes.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, otherwise you could use KI, artificial intelligence, right now. That sounds perfectly, but doesn't grab your heart.
Yeah, like I like to hear the pick hitting the pick guard, or one string that isn't muted that's supposed to be muted.
Or a squeeze or whatever.
That's part of the magic of it, you know.
I found on this record, I can't remember the song, but when mixing, you're listening back carefully, and then the engineer on it asked me, "What kind of harmony do you use in this one guitar on the left side? It's supposed to be a low D." I said, "Oops, I guess it's a G or something," and nobody noticed, and we just kept it. And if you hear the in the whole consonants, you won't recognize it just for a hint of a sec. What?
Right. I mean, just for an example, like that Led Zeppelin song, Black Dog, and it goes zing, ding, a ding, a ding, a ding, zing, a ding, hey, mama. That's because someone spilled coffee on the tape.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's great, but it's part of rock and roll history. That little thing, you know. So no coffee on the soundboard, guys.
No.
So I was listening to an interview that you did a few months back, and you were saying when you're touring with your solo band, you're playing a festival, and then you heard a band on stage, and you're like, "That's the vocal that you've basically been searching for 5 to 10 years, and that's Gianni," right?
Yeah, the singer before, Yotti, he got disease in his throat because he was too much screaming and everything, no practicing. Yeah. And then I was looking around and said, should I do it one more time and give it a try? I'm glad I did it. And as you said, the story was, I played a festival and there was another band before. Wow. And I said, wow, this guy, listen to this. And I closed my eyes and I could imagine in the same moment how is he singing the classics from Victory. And then I just talked to this guy. He was a little shy and said, wow, is it a joke? Or something. No. I want you to come over to Hanover. Let's do an audition. Let's try a couple of songs. And he did, and he prepared himself very well. He practiced, and then he showed up and he sang On the Loose and all these classics. And I said, "Yep, got the job."
Yes, okay.
And I guess it was right. And
He sounds fantastic.
And for the second album, for the Circle of Life now, he felt more familiar with all this stuff. You know, the first time in the studio for the Gods of Tomorrow, he didn't know what's coming up in the studio.
Right.
What is he expecting? I have to step into the shoes of Charlie Yu, Fernando Garcia. Right. Wow. Yep, give it a try. He did a good job, but on this record he felt so exciting, even more exciting, and this time also we got a chance to meet for 2 or 3 weekends before, because no Corona,
right?
So we got a chance to prepare the songs much more and much better, you know. So in these 10 days in the studio, he just laid down tracks.
Yeah, because it must have been difficult when you're doing that's one level of stress you're dealing, for the singer's first time doing a big situation, and then Corona on top of it, where everyone's got to get tested, and how many people. I can't believe the amount of extra stress that just added to, and it's just a thing you got to deal with, is what I mean.
It's just a thing of organization, but as I said, it's much easier, if you can work with the band together and stuff like that. So we recorded in 10 days, and we got fun. That's the reason why we came up with this, with the idea of this Count on Me video, to show people a little bit the situation in the studio we had.
Yeah.
Just had fun dancing around. Yeah. Everybody was smiling.
It was a really fun video, for sure. For sure. And the lyrics, it's really great. It's, it's addressing people who may be depressed, or, is it you saying the music's here for you, or I'm here for you, however you want to do that. And of course, September is Suicide Awareness Month, so keep going, everybody. And sometimes music is a great healer, and the message in that song is really struck me different today than it did maybe 2 months ago when we covered the song.
So we did absolutely right, because that was exactly the meaning of the song, or that's what we want to tell people. Hey, count on somebody. There's always somebody next to your side or neighborhood or whatever, in school or at your job. There are people you count on them.
Absolutely.
You just have to open your mind and say in a friendly way, hello.
Right. So, a few years ago, my brother had passed on from suicide. And so I started this podcast, and I had 2 of my friends from 30 years ago, Jason and Rob, and, I counted on them.
Sure.
And they were there. They've been my brothers for 30 plus years,
And people shouldn't forget how lucky they can be if you have someone to count on you. Right. You need some.
Absolutely. Yep. And it's funny how music also, like whatever, music can touch you differently 10 years later after hearing. You may have a song that you didn't, I can't even listen to that song. 10 years later, you're like, why didn't I listen to this? And it just hits you totally different because your perspective's changed to the music.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I think everybody's got a song in their life that when it comes on, no matter where you're at, you just almost stop and freeze in your tracks. And it just has a certain meaning to you, whether it's family, friends, or a moment in time. And that's a beautiful thing about music. It just can unite people too.
Music is just great. That's the reason why I'm still doing it. 4 weeks ago, I got the chance to listen to Tom Jones in concert. Wow.
Yeah,
First time in my life, probably last time in my life, the last chance. And he started the open air show with the song "I'm Growing Old."
Wow!
And he just sang. He sat down on a bar stool. I mean, he's 84. It got this look in his face, and I mean, wow! And in between 5 seconds, you have goosebumpers. And then a piano starts, and he sang this song. It's fantastic. And these are these moments maybe you describe these moments. If you listen to it, there's a certain song that grabs you.
Yeah. You know,
That's the
my
reason why we
son,
all are into music or into music business or still doing music.
my son's 24 years old, and when he was 10, Tom Jones was one of his favorite musicians.
Yeah.
You know, and that, I mean, that shows you something. I mean, we always, you know, listened to Tom Jones growing up, and then we had Chris Slade on, and he started with Tom Jones. And I'm like, how loud does Tom sing? He goes, we were inside a rehearsal hall playing, and we heard Tom singing over our playing, and he was outside the building.
He's just outstanding.
I can't even, you know.
I just mentioned this because I'm doing since my whole life music, but there are still moments, these kind of like magical moments. And that's what you get if you listen to music or you make music or doing music or broadcasting music or something.
Absolutely. And
I still love it.
You know, and little do you know, when you're writing that riff, where they're in the studio and, you know, whatever you're doing, that progression of chords that you're playing might actually stop someone from doing something they don't really want to do. And that song just makes them stop.
Cool.
And then everything's okay.
Thank you so much.
You know, and it's only that 1 second that you need.
Yeah.
And music is filled with them, you know.
Yeah.
But absolutely. Okay. So you started playing jazz. I come from my house was filled with jazz music growing up. And you can always tell, you know, like now that you said that you listen, like jazz was in your world. Okay, now your riffs make a little more sense the way that they're structured.
Yeah, in the beginning, this old teacher teach me the real book and for the big band, the chords and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I was in this musical high school, you know. So from kindergarten on, I played the flute. So there was one direction in my life.
Nice.
Why did I end with guitar?
I've always been a flutist.
And I've always been amazed too at how many
in the vocal lesson.
Yeah. And I've always been amazed at how many musicians we talk to, guitar players, that you mentioned jazz, and I know blues is huge, but how many of them were classically trained when they were younger, and that brings that into the metal field too. I mean,
it makes life easier. I mean, they teach me the harmonics. If you play 10 years violin, you learn how to listen for tune and stuff like that. Or they in the school they teach me the different voices. If you do a backing vocal, how you lay down all the harmonies. Hey, it helps.
Yeah, music.
There's nothing wrong to have a good education or a good
right. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of that here. You know, like you guys have. Definitely, Europe has I think a better appreciation for music just in general. Like, you know, like here now you may have 5 elementary schools and there's 1 art teacher, 1 music teacher, when it used to be in every school. Like it, you know, maybe
it's kind of like the same right now in Germany too. I mean, we're talking about 50 years ago or 60 years ago.
Right, I know how fast it goes, right?
Situations changed a lot.
Yeah.
But we don't want to start about politics.
Right. You know, that's for sure. The world's gone crazy.
Yeah.
But okay, so how'd you get the gig with the Sept early on?
Early on, it was just by accident. Just by luck, you have to say. In my hometown, I had a friend. He played in a band, Cream something, whatever they called, and they got the chance to support Sept in the way decades ago. Right. And then he knows me. He knowed me, and I was always looking for the next level of band, blah, like this, and only showed up in local bands. You didn't have a real chance to go out there. And then he told me, hey, they're looking for a new guitar player. A second guitar player. I said, wow, do you have any number? He said, yes, from the management. It was Gabi Hauke. She named Hauke at these days. Then she became Gabi Hoffmann.
Okay.
And so he gave me the number. I grabbed my coins, put it into this telephone box. I don't know word for it. And called up. And she said, oh, nice to meet you, Herman Frank. The second question was, how tall are you? What? You don't want to know which guitar or which amp or whatever? Yeah, exactly this move. And I said, oh, I'm 9'1" in centimeters, 192 at this time. I said, okay, then we can further talk on.
That's funny,
And
but
then,
how, you know?
She started me asking me question what I'm doing, and at this time, the army was based in Germany. So I was in a band, in a variety band. We played from rock to country, whatever.
Yeah.
And I got 15 shows a month. So I was well in train. And then she said, yeah, so you're trying to be professional? I said, yeah, I'm trying to. And then they invited me for an audition. And then I showed up, and yeah, finally I got the job.
That's great.
Thank that I'm taller than 190.
And so you're with them for a while, and then you left, and you did, you know.
Yeah, after 2 years, it became a little bit, different situation. So I was out of Sept. I started with a band Sinner. It was a German band, then joined Victory, and through the decades, I came back to Sept for a festival season, then out, then we come back for 8 years and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, the fans love all that. You know, the fans always love that. That's always a good move, you know. And we just had Joel Holkstra on, and he filled in for one of the guys. Yeah. And he's just from right down the street from us here, but you know,
he's a great guitar player. Wow.
Oh, he's fantastic. Great guy too.
Yeah.
Yes, he can play anything. And you know, when we're in the search for new music, back in the day, everyone would be at the record store and everyone's showing you, oh yeah, try this one. Yeah, no. Oh, they're from Germany. What? Let me see that. That's all you needed to hear, because you knew if they came from Germany, they were going to kick ass. I mean, that was, because Americans, they're just basing it on Foghat and Boston and whatever they're hearing, and you guys have a classical education and music. There was a difference there.
I guess it's the food and the beer.
Absolutely. Yeah, because just think from Germany. I mean, Scorps, Sept, Halloween, Rammstein, Creator, Dora.
Yeah.
The other night, I just happened to catch something, and it was Halloween Live. It had both singers and the 3 guitar players.
Yeah.
It was from a few years ago, and I could not believe.
Might be an idea for Sept.
Yeah. Well, you had something to do with one of the Halloween tunes, if I remember correctly, didn't you? Aren't you credited on one of the Halloween tunes?
I guess it was Keeper of the 7th key or whatever key.
Yeah.
And they Tommy, the producer, at this time the other guitar player from Victory, he asked it for, we have to have a voice on it. Insania 240 or something, whatever I said. He said, you can do that. Yeah, it took me 10 minutes as I did it as he wanted it. Insania 240. No, faster. Insania 240. Terrible moment.
That's awesome. All right. So your new album comes out, was it September 13th?
Yes, you're right.
13th, yep.
Yeah.
Victory. Anything with the V is good for me. My grandfather's name was Victor. So to the victor goes the spoils. What a great album, from what I've heard. And of course, we've covered you guys. And every time you're involved, it's going to be a great listening experience.
Thank you so much. I try to do my very best. But actually, on this album, I'm kind of like really proud of. It turned out very well, and I'm still listening back. That's a good sign.
Absolutely.
And I still love it.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
this, and Count on Me. That is such a positive, uplifting, fun song, and I can say now that after the plague is done, there's so much feel-good music coming out
It's
again.
definitely a song we're gonna do live.
Great. Oh,
Oh yeah, sure.
yeah, you got to, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for your time. We appreciate it. So everyone go out and buy right now. Go out and pre-order Victory Circle of Life, and that's on AFM Records. And Mr. Frank, thank you, sir. Thank you for all the years of great riffs.
Have a good time,
all the good
guys.
times we cannot talk about on this camera right here, sir.
Thank you so much. See you later.
Thank you, Herman.
We'll see you
Bye-bye,
guys
guys.
next time on Monday
Bye-bye.
Metal. Take care.